that is where okay, I just heard a dialogue box that said recording in progress. Okay, so sorry. The people started questioning everything. Like the people started questioning the religion in first place. There was a conflict between religion and science. So we all know this Darwin's theory, right? That we all were evolved, not created by God. So that theory that was derived, one of the base was the translation. So when people started reading the translated versions in their own languages, like everyone started having that Bible because it is translated now, so they can read it in their own languages. Then they started questioning everything. Galileo was killed because Galileo was against the theory that was said in the Bible, which were lies actually. So when it got translated, people started questioning. Perhaps if Bible was translated way so earlier, people would have believed Galileo. So I would say translation played a vital role here. Mm, it helped a lot. It helped the mankind to how to say sharpen their mind, question religion, because religion played a vital role once upon a time. It still does, of course, but long ago, like so long ago, religion was everything to the people. This broke this translation. This thing broke it, and now so this is the basic idea of this history, how translation contributed to the development of the mankind in the society when we speak of the history part. So now I think I hope we all have a little bit idea about what is translation and how it played an important role in the society. Now let's touch base our what to say the title. So translation has got many technical aspects, like we have direct translation, word to word translation, indirect translation, there are different types of translation, so let's not get into that. So let me ask you a question, anyone can come up and answer. Do you know the difference? I mean, of course you obviously know, but can you please tell me the difference between transparent and translucent? Anyone? What is the difference between transparent and translucent? Nobody? No volunteers? Victims or volunteers? Can I pick anyone? No? All are there. I'm sorry, I couldn't see if anyone
Sir,
is.
transparent means
Yeah.
clearly see through objects, and
Yep.
translucent is partly we can see through them.
Varsha, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Varsha. Yeah, yes, that's quite right. Transparent. We see everything, not of course everything. Transparent. We know what happens on the other side. But translucent is something that some kind of impression. We put a thin layer over there, but we don't change the originality. We don't change the source. That is translucent. So when it comes to translation, do we really need transparent text or translucent text? You know, we wouldn't know. We think when we read histories, we think the people from Africa are very poor and they don't have knowledge, they are illiterate. We think like that, right? Unless someone teaches us their way of life, their culture. If you go back in history and if you happen to read Adichie, the Purple Hibiscus, the book is called Purple Hibiscus. If you happen to read, you will come to know um, the Africans were kings and queens. So maybe the original text was in English, and we even got to know it when the source text was in English, but still the culture was translated. And similarly, we think the people from Pakistan, our neighboring country, right? So we think they are all so terrorized people. They just, they make us worry. They always fight with us. That's what we think. Until unless someone from there, until unless someone teaches us through their writings that how the literature works. Yeah, is there anyone? Anybody? I heard someone talking. Okay, right. So That's how it is, and also that's how it is. Translation is not just about the text, it's also about how do we get to know the culture of other people. So, everything has got a translation. So I'm not here to say that every single mosque in the world is filled with translation. No, I'm not exaggerating. If you go to a kid and if you give a ball to a kid and if you ask what is it, of course, if the kid is from Tamil Nadu, obviously it will say Bandu. That is a translation. So if the kid is not from Tamil Nadu, if the kid is from any other states, or the kid is of their own mother tongue, the kid will answer, right? No, that is translation. And now, okay, back to the point. What do we need? Whether it should be transparent or translucent. So how both will work. That's where a part of the translator, the role of a translator is vital. That is where how to make it aesthetic and not being aesthetic. The text should be aesthetic or the text cannot be aesthetic. Only the translator decides it, of course. I wouldn't say that translators are very, but everyone is, they are the best in their own way. But still, how a translator contributes to this text in terms of translation. Now, we all should decide when you read a text. I mean, everyone is a translator, of course. When you read a text in any other language, maybe let's take Tamil to English itself. So you read something in English and you want to tell that story to your friends or to anybody or to even to an open forum. When you want to tell that story, we would obviously go for our mother tongue to say it in first. So you might have read something else in the original, the source text, which is in English. When you say it in your language, which is in Tamil, you would exaggerate. But I am sure that you will not change the meaning. I'm sure you will not change the originality of the text. You won't change the culture, whatever said in that story. You would want to say it to your folks. You will play a role of a translator, but that's where your creativity lies. What to say? I'll just tell you an example. So I happen to translate one of the stories of writer Prevention. So in that story, there will be a line in Tamil, of course. Ammani Ammal Aapam Suttu Kondirundha, Aapam Suttu Kondirundha. So now I'm translating that to English. So I shouldn't change the originality. I have to convey it to the English reader. Imagine this, if English is spoken worldwide, and of course someone who doesn't know Tamil will have to read this part. Now, if I go and tell some English man or English woman like, Ammani Ammal was making appam. If I write that, then there will be a question: what is appam? So if I give a direct translation, if I give a transparency, if my text is going to be a transparent text, that's where the question will be. So I'm not changing any originality, okay? Because that's what the original text. Of course, Amani Amal was making appam. That is what's said in the story. We all will understand what appam is. But how about the people who really have no idea about what is appam? So we have to come up with the creativity. Now let's do some transclusion. So what I'm going to say, Amanimal was streaming Appam. So we'll come to know what is streaming here. So what all we can stream, or Amanimal was preparing a pancake like Appam. I'm not changing anything, or I'm not cooking up anything. I'm not changing the originality. Everything is there, but still I added a word. Amanimal was steaming or preparing or making a pancake like appam. So when the reader reads it, I mean the reader who has no idea about Tamil or who has no idea about appam, when they read it, it will be like obviously how to say, they will understand the concept, like how it is, how what was in the original text, or how was it in the original text, and how they happen to change it. So now I'd like to ask you, what would you actually choose? Whether when you want a text, whether you want it to be in a transparent manner or translucent manner. I'm just asking, putting this question to all of you again. So please tell me which one would you prefer? But you want to, like, okay, before we go into the question, I'll tell you one more thing. See, the French people, they have a lot of culture. There are different type of cultures, and this French people, when they make eggs in the pan, once they make an omelette, They won't wash their pan. Do you know that? It's their culture, because the reason they give is, it's funny, but of course it will make sense. They say they let it season. They don't wash it off. Once they make an omelette, they eat it and they say it's very delicious, and they keep it. No, they just take it, let the pan dry, and they can hang it back, because they let it season it. Because that's why they say that will be the taste. But when we come back to us, we'll be like, imagine if we don't wash any of our vessels once we cook, it'll be ridiculous, right? That's their culture. So if you say yuck, why don't they wash it? And they'll say, no, we don't wash it because it's how it works here. That is why our omelets are very delicious, they'll say. And also, in English, we have something called it, right? For everything. Uyadhanai, Agrinai in Tamil we have. For Agrinai, we say Adu in Tamil. And in English, we say it. The French people, they don't have it. Do you know that? They have everything. For every single thing that they have masculine and feminine. So everything, television is masculine, and so if everything for car is feminine, so lava, so they have everything. That's how their culture is. So I cannot be translating my culture into theirs directly. I cannot give a transparency. So if I give a transparent text, if I'm going to be transparent, of course there are some places where you have to be transparent, but you have to be transparent. If you're going to use your creativity, then the originality might get damaged. You shouldn't change the originality. Why do we need to be creative? I mean, the translators, why you think they have to be creative? If there is no creativity in your making as a translator, then Google can do a better job. Have you ever tried translating things in Google? Just randomly try something. And if you go to Google and if you simply type like, how to say, let's do this. What the hell is going on? If you go and type like, what the hell is going on, and if you translate that to Tamil, it should be, the real meaning is, uh, we are into frustration and we ask that question. We coin the word hell in what is going on, which means we are so frustrated and we are asking, "Jun, என்ன நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு?" That expression. But you know how Google translated, like it says, என்ன நரகம் நடக்கிறது. That's how it is. So that's where, so if we don't use our creativity, if we don't think our text should be aesthetic, then we all will be a Google translator. So that's where a translator plays a vital role. Now let's oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot almost. So what do you all think? I mean, what do you think really? Anybody, do you really think a text should have I mean, any source text, it would be good if it is going to be in a transparent manner or translucent manner? What do you think? Anyone, just throw your idea. Which would be nice, you think? Nobody?
Come on, answer.
Sir, I would like the text to be transparent.
Okay, good. Okay, transparent. Let's have inputs. Okay, let's have inputs from everybody. I mean, this is not a Q&A session. We'll come to that part later, but let me take your inputs. What do you think? Because I've just told you what is transparent text and translucent text. So let's hear it from everybody, like everyone, or at least it's Shiv Natraj, right? Shiva Natraj. Thank you, Shiva. Anyone else? Come on.
So transculent is better.
Okay, thank you, Sahana. Some more, come on. Anyone? Just say it. Of course, it's just two words. You can simply say maybe translucent. Anyone? Come on. Okay. Right. Nobody? Wait, all are there? Because if you're in the class, if you're able to see the faces, we can understand if anyone is looking at us or not. All I see is tiny icons, like full of Tamil icons. I'm not sure if you're all even in front of your system. So of course your voice would be helpful to me. No one?
Translucent, sir.
Translucent. Hello.
Boys,
Okay, I'll name out. Can I just? Okay, so we have got three inputs. Okay, so we expect a text to be transparent. Let's talk about the problems when it's good. I'm not going to be biased here. Okay, let's just both are needed. That depends on the context, but still, excuse me. So, but still, let's get on with it. So Shiva said to Shivnatraj. So he said he wants the text to be transparent. So what happens when a text is transparent? Now, like I said, if I'm going to be transparent with my text, if I'm going to give a transparent text to the target text, so I read something, maybe say for example, anything in Tamil. In Tamil, of course, I'll read it in Tamil. Of all the languages, of course, I will choose Tamil. Do you know that Tamil is the world's oldest language in the world? Yeah, if you Google it, you will come to know. If you type what is the language that was spoken first in the world, then you will get an answer. Tamil, of course, Tamil was the best and is the best. So I read something in Tamil. That's our culture. Now I'm going to translate it to, say, for example, English. English will go to English first. If at all I'm going to be transparent with my text, transparent, we saw it already. Transparent is nothing but we just show what is there exactly here. It's not that just a layer is there, but that's of course a conversion. I just convert it from the source to the target, just the language. That's what transparency. Transparent text. You don't do anything there. It's not that you're not going to be creative. Of course, you will be creative, but still you are going to give a complete transparent to this other language. Let's take the same example I previously used. That is Amani Amal was making art. So if I'm going to be transparent there, if my text is going to be transparent, then it will be like Amani Amal was making appam. That is how I should be, because here I'm just using only my transparent text idea. I'm not using anything here. I'm not going to be translucent here. I'm not going to add any aesthetic line. I'm not going to make it more attractive to the reader. Obviously, the reader will get bored. That is the problem of having it in giving a transparent text idea. But in order to be translucent, you don't need to change the line. For example, he was going to the school. That's it. That is the English text. Now, if you translate into Tamil, what will he say? அவன் பள்ளிக்கு போய் கொண்டிருந்தான். There's one thing. அவன் பள்ளிக்கு நடந்து போய் கொண்டிருந்தான். Second thing, அவன் பள்ளிக்கு மிதிவண்டியில் சென்று கொண்டிருந்தான். Third thing, there are a lot of things here, right? So where I'm going to use my aesthetic sense here, how it will be nice if I say, because the English text says he was going to the school. So guys, I'm not giving any lecture here. Please don't see me as your professors, that I'm not trying to bore you here. I'm just trying to give you an example of how the transparent text works. So if at all I'm just giving avan pallikku poi kondirundan, if I give that, then there is no aesthetic sense here. There is no creativity there. Of course, the following lines might say how he was going to school, whether he was going to school with his parents, whether he was going to school by bicycle or by car, everything. Then it will come up. But If at all I prefer to be translucent, then that's where my idea works, my creativity works. I'll be saying like, அவன் பள்ளிக்கு நடந்து சென்று கொண்டிருந்தான். So I give a vision. I know, like I just create a visual sense to my reader. My reader will be like, okay, they will be able to imagine. So I can say அவன் நடந்து கொண்டிருந்தான். Obviously, you will imagine someone walking to the school. That is where the translucent work. Here, you don't change the meaning of it. Of course, the guy was going to the school. You didn't change anything. You didn't say அவன் பள்ளிக்கு ஓடிக்கொண்டிருந்தான். No. அவன் பள்ளிக்கு பதிலா வேற எங்கேயோ போய் கொண்டிருந்தான். No, not that too. So you don't get to change the text. And also, when a writer writes something, I mean the original author, every writer in the world has got their own way of narrating the story. I'm sure you all might have heard about Paulo Coelho. He's my favorite writer, by the way. And one of his famous novels is The Alchemist. So, do you know something? The Alchemist, that is in English, but it was not originally written in English. Paulo Coelho doesn't know English actually. So, but when he realized that his text was going to be translated in English, he decided that he's going to be famous somehow. Is really going to be famous because he thought the translation will make him famous. Of course, that happened. So he was walking on the road. He was walking, and then he happened to, encounter a mother and a child and her child. They were pointing at him and they were talking like, this is the guy. They were saying in English. So he mentioned it somewhere. This is the guy who wrote Alchemist, and he's Paulo Coelho. So they said it. Paulo has mentioned it in one of his interviews. So that's the power of translation. Now we know how things work in Brazil, how things work in Portugal, because we know their culture. I wouldn't know how the culture works unless someone translate. But that's what I said. But if at all they gave, if the translator decide to be decide to choose the transparent part of a translation, then I will have no idea what the culture is. They might say, they might mention their culture. They might say their rituals. The African writer might mention their rituals. The original text that says some mentioning some ritual, some XYZ, which I don't understand. Of course, just because it is in English, I cannot understand everything. That is where the translucent helps. So if the person is going to give you a clear, transparent thing, okay, this is what they said in the original, and this is what I'm going to say in the target text too. I'm not doing anything. I'm just giving a transparent text here. If the translator decides it, then the reader is so dead. They will not understand anything. It's just for the namesake of translation. There are we used to do projects, like even we used to do a lot of projects even now, like there'll be a bulk order where you will get a translate. We call that as a translation project. We do it for namesake. The secret which I don't share with anybody, but still I'm telling you, like they'll pay you. Translators, they get paid very, very heavily, and you get one source text and you translate it to a, don't care about the aesthetic sense. All you care about is money. That's, if you do that, then that's not fair actually. That is not a part of, that is not how a translator should be. Even tomorrow you can, like I said, you read something in English in your own mother tongue, then you can with your own creativity. There you have to be translucent. We do not know, someday like you want to have and so I would really suggest that it can be translucent, it can be transparent too, provided you make sure that your translator story is not boring actually. So like I said, I happen to translate the stories of the late writer Prevention. If you haven't read Prevention, I would really suggest you to read his stories. It will be really, they are really good. He is a writer, and Prevention forms a sentence in a very short, like it will be I'll just say it out. Aval purandu padthal, full stop. Purandu kondirundal, full stop. எழுந்து கண்ணாடியில் தன் முகத்தை பார்த்து கொண்டிருந்தால், full stop. That's how the story will start. And the story will start. So he will not stretch the sentence. That is his style. I mean, like that is. So he will form a sentence. That's how he'll create a sentence. So now, if I happen to translate the story of prevention, then I shouldn't change the originality of the story. Maybe the writer have a reason why he is forming the sentences like that. Maybe we'll say he's getting the readers to visualize things. So, our Purandu Padthal, when he says it, you will obviously visualize our Purandu Padthal. So you will visualize it. So Prabhanjan might have thought. So he might have thought that giving the sentences in a short form might help people to visualize things. So that's how Prabhanjan writes in a story. When I happen to touch his text on his stories, I have to translate as they are. Of course. So when I say Iravil Avan உண்ணாமல் படுத்தது காலையில் எழுந்தும் பொழுது அவன் வயிற்றில் how to say காந்தி கொண்டிருந்தது, like the hunger. So when I translate it, of course I have to do the same. I have to take the source text and put it in English. I shouldn't change anything. So this story I translated, the story was Oru Manushi. The story's name was is Oru Manushi, and that story is Phil, director, the late director Balu Mahendra. What he did, he adapted that story and converted into a nice screenplay, and it was telecasted in Sun TV long ago in Kadai Neram. That was, it was a short film. If you go to YouTube and search for it, you will get it. So that's my favorite story which Prabhanjan penned. So I happened to translate the story. It was very challenging because the elements used in the story were like too colloquial. There's a photographer. The story is very short one. There's a photographer. He's so poor, and he barely manages to take his breakfast, lunch, and everything. He doesn't eat fries all the time because he doesn't have enough money. He's a photographer for a news some magazine company, and what happens? He clicks photos of celebrities and he takes it to the office, and they check the photo if it's good or bad. If the poses are good or bad, then they pay him, and that's how he is. So that day he didn't. I'll just give it a crisp of the story. You happen to read somewhere else. So he goes to meets the accountant, and the accountant is not there today. He's on leave now. He doesn't have money. I mean, the photographer doesn't have money to eat. He run for the day. So what he thinks, he visits one of his oldest friends, and she is a prostitute, and he happens to visit her. He visits her, and he says, you know what, I'm going to click a picture of you, and I'm going to take it to my magazine office, and I'm just make it appear on the cover images, and you're gonna be great. So he brainwashes her, and she says, really? Oh, I'm so tired today. I don't think I can pose. Then he convinces her, okay, please, it's okay. I'll just, you can just come up in a nice green gown, and we'll connect a photo shoot. So he convinces her, and she too, dresses herself up, and she appears for the photo shoot, and he clicks. He continues to click everything, and after it's done with the clicking, he says, okay, now I'm gonna go have them, printed out, but I need money for that. So do you have money? He asks her, and she's like, oh, I don't have money, but wait, I'll just come back. So she goes, visits her neighbor, and gets some money and gives it to him. And he's like, okay, thank you. This should help. I'll print out all the photos and I'll let you know the status later. He leaves. And the neighbor girl, she comes, what happened? You didn't eat for 2 days. You didn't ask money, but suddenly you showed up at my door and you asked if you need some money or what. So what happened? Why suddenly you needed money? Then that lady says, I mean, the friend of the photographer, she says, my friend visited Shekhar. Shekhar is a very good guy. A very good guy. He's a very honest guy, but his hunger made him to lie. I know he was simply hitting that button. There was no film roll in the camera. I know very well. He was simply, let's just clicking shutter. And I knew it, but still he lied that he clicked photos of me and he's going to print it out. So I felt so sorry for him. So I just got money and I gave it to him. Then the story will end like that. So it's a beautiful story. Please do read it. It's available online. You can just go check Orumanishi by Pravanjan. So what happens? This is a story I happen to translate to English. So there are a lot of elements, like I just missed out so many things because I wanted to give a crispy idea about the story. This guy lives in an apartment. It's a mansion actually. In the mansion, there's another old lady living next door. She'll be, in the story, Prabhanjan wrote it like, அவள் நரைத்த முடிகளை ஒவ்வொன்றாக சீவி கொண்டிருந்த பொழுது முடிகள் அனைத்தும் கட்டரை கட்டரைகளாக உருண்டு கொண்டிருந்தன தரையில். So imagine, and after that the photographer walks. அப்பொழுது சேகர் குளிப்பதற்காக அந்த வழியை நடந்து சென்றான். Then there comes a dialogue that the road lady, she talks to the photographer. She's like, இந்த போட்டோக்காரரே என்னையெல்லாம் போட்டோவே பிடிக்க மாட்டேற, ஃபுல்லா வயசு பொண்ணுங்களையா போட்டோ பிடிச்சிட்டு இருக்க, என்னெல்லாம் எப்ப நீ போட்டோ பிடிக்க போற? You see that when you read something, the writer, they just read it out. It's up to you to make up the tone. I'm very sure Prabhanjan might have mentioned his own tone into that lady's dialogue, but when I read it, I took it upon my tone. Now I'm going to translate that to English. So imagine how I would have done it. So you think even I would have done that, even if I would have added a translucent, even if I would have added aesthetic sense into the rhyme, do you think it would have conveyed the same tone as the old lady did in that story? Of course, no. So we don't call that as a failure of a translation. We call that as a success, the originality of the source text. You can't give 100% translation. Translation cannot be 100%. So it'll be like 97, 98%. It won't be 100% for sure. That's where the originality of the source text lies. So when we have all these complications, if you are going for a transparent text, I'm very sure it won't make any sense. It's of course it's my personal experience. Maybe there are very much of translators out on the world. They prefer the transparent text theory. They would just pick it and they just give it. And if you question them, this text is having a transparent manner. Why there is no translucent here? Why you could have added anything, right? If you ask them, then they might say, no, I don't want to change the originality of the author. So I don't want to add any word or make it fancy. I just translate it as it is. So there are of course transparent translators, but when it comes to me, my personal choice would be translucent. That's where your creativity works. That's where the aesthetic sense works. In the same story, I told, no, Urmanishi, that's where this Ammaniyamal comes. So I've been repeatedly saying, because Ammaniyamal is the character that I personally love. She prepares Appam. The story starts like, நீ ஆப்ப எனக்கு சுட்டு தரலன்னு வச்சுக்கோ, என் கடையை உடைச்சிருவேன், காளி கத்தி கொண்டு இருந்தான். நெக்ஸ்ட் லைன், நீ காசு கொடுத்தாதான் நான் உனக்கு ஆப்பம் கொடுப்பேன், இன்னும் போனியே ஆகல, வேற எங்கேயாவது போய் பாரு. செகண்ட் லைன், this Ammaniyamal's dialogue. And then Prabhanjan writes, ஆனால் ஒரு நாள் கூட இவள் அவனுக்கு ஆப்பம் தராமலும் இருந்ததில்லை, அவனும் ஆப்பச்சுட்டியை உடைத்ததும் இல்லை. So that's how it is. The beauty, that's how he beautified his writing. So if I'm taking it up, I must make sure I shouldn't damage the scene. So I shouldn't change anything here. I of course I have to be transparent here. So he never broke any of the vessels in the shop, and she never ignored, she never refused to give him some pancake like appams every day. She feeds him every day. So that's how it is. So here I gave a transparent thing, but in the other places, of course, I have to be, I have to give translucent so that the reader will have an idea, because not everyone will be able to understand our culture. I mean, I'm so glad I'm able to give you an example between Tamil and English, which is very easy for us. But I'm telling you, if at all you extend, if you go to French, if you go to German, if you go to African languages, of course, that and all, you need to understand their culture. Because of course, even when we speak of literature, literature, ilakiam is nothing but telling our culture. That is ilakiam, that is literature. And when it comes to translation, like it is like a double-edged sharpened blade. Actually, you have to handle it very carefully. Whether I'm going to give a complete, the idea, if at all I'm going to, if I wanted, I could have shown this Amaniyama character in my English text as a villainish character. Amaniyama was so rude. Of course, I can say the voice in the original text seemed so rude. She'll be like, கடையில கடையில வந்த அப்படின்னா உனக்கு கொன்றுவேன், காசு கொடுத்தாலும் ஆப்பம் கொடுப்பேன். That is how the sentence will be. It's up to me to take. So when I carry this to the reader, I have to make sure that this conveys in a proper way, that my reader reads in a proper way. So I won't miss out the originality, and I won't miss out anything else, and I'll add some more creativity and convey it to my reader. So, of course, when it comes to translation, we can continue to talk, go on, and go on. And of course, some people, I mean, not some, few, quite few, not some, I wouldn't say some, quite few people have this idea about translation is not a work of creativity. They say translators are copycats. They don't give any work to their brain. They don't give any creative. They don't work on the creative side. They just steal the creativity of the writer, and they just add here and there few words like mane tene pon mane. They just add it and they get their name. So that's the idea that is widely in the society. But I wouldn't go for it. Of course, for me, I have written some short stories too. Of course, I can call myself a writer as well. I can call myself a poet as well. I have written some poems too. Of course, I have published them. But still, I'm so happy to call myself as a translator, because now, someone called me long ago from, I'm not sure which university, from Pondicherry University, I guess. So she thanked me. She phoned me and she thanked me, saying that we were looking for. She was doing her thesis on Prabhajan's short story, and unfortunately, there are no much of English translations, short stories of Prabhajan. He's a National Award, Sahitya Academy winner, but still, that there are no much of English stories of him. So I personally know him, so he was like my mentor. So that's how I wanted to do his stories in English. So when I did that, it somehow reached some random person. They happened to read it, and they were able to use it for their thesis since the story was in English. And they phoned me and they thanked me. So I was so happy that I contributed something. So that's where a translator works. It's not just a job. It's more like a responsibility. So I love being a translator. So I also love to suggest you, like I'd like to suggest you, please go ahead and pick translator texts and read both and analyze it for yourself. Of course, it's not going to be tough for you all, tough for us all. It'll be very easy. Do you know that I'll say how this works? So original text in German, and it should come to English, and it will come to Tamil. Things have happened actually. There are a lot of books. If we talk about it, it'll still drag. I don't want to take much of time. Now the source text is in German. If I know German, I would translate that directly to Tamil. So I don't know Tamil. I don't know German. So what I'll do, I mean, if I wanted to translate Karl Marx poems, the books were written originally in German language. So first, if I pick it from German, I have to translate it to English. I mean, the person who knows German would translate it to English. So what I'll do, I'll go for Karl Marx story translated in English. So I'll pick that book, I'll pick that text, and I'll translate that to Tamil. Now imagine it has crossed already 2 bridges. So I already said translations cannot be, pakka. It won't be 100%. It will be for 98, badly 97. That's how it will be. Now imagine a text from German got translated to English, 97%. There is no accuracy here. Now a non-accuracy text that is in English, I'm going to translate it to Tamil. Now, if you take the German version and Tamil version, there will be a massive difference. There will be something else there, and there will be something else here. These are the, I wouldn't say negative aspects. I would say challenges. I will find the word challenges. So that's the challenges in translation. So what I would advise you is, if at all you happen to go for a translated text reading, please get to know where this original text was, whether it was in, whether it is translated directly from that source language, or it was translated to different language and then translated to this. So analyze all these things, then go for it. And I think I'm just done with it. I'm so sorry if I bored you all. Yes, so should translation be transparent or translucent? If you ask the question directly, if you put that question directly, of course, I would say it depends. Yet, translucent is much better than transparent. So yeah, I'm done. I'm so happy for the moment. So what is the next item in agenda? Like, do we have QA? Any questions?
Yes, obviously. Sana, anybody there with questions?
Oh. Okay, I can do it in reverse, right? If there are no questions, I can pick someone ask questions, right? Can I do it?
Yes, sir.
Does it work like that? I can ask anyone a question, but I have to make sure if everyone is having their mobile in their hands, right? I'm not sure if anyone is having, but I can't ask everybody to switch on their camera. That will be very weird. So please ask me any questions. Any questions, of course. I'll even give you, a good offer. You don't need to ask questions from translation. You can ask any questions. So that's a good option, a good offer, I would say. Please take up the opportunity and ask
I've got
any
one,
questions.
that will be the last question.
That'll be enough questions.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Yes, Shiva. Hi again.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Well, according to you, you said translation to be translucent, right? It's
Yeah.
better to be translucent, right?
It's
But
better to be, yes.
but what's my objection is translation to be transparent to enrich the language, right, sir?
To enrich the
vocabulary of
yeah.
the language.
Yes, that's what I said, the originality of the text.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
For example, you said Ammani Ammal ate an appam, right? Whether it is
Yes.
translated as such into English, appam can be searched by many of the Englishmen, and it is they could be known that it is a Tamil food. They take it for a meal, something like that, right?
That's right. I mean, I would totally stand with you. This was the same question. I mean, sorry, you done with your question?
Yeah, yes, sir. I have done.
Okay. So yes, I had this exact very same question, because this line starts the first line. I'll get this line in the first paragraph itself. I had the same question as yours, and I'll tell you, the last resort, the last option will be Amani Amal was steaming appam. You can give transparent text, and you have to star symbol on that word appam. And that means we have to refer to the appendix, and you will write in appendix, the bibliography of the book, where you will mention appam is a South Indian food. It's steamed using the flour from the rice, and it is so fluffy, and we can add it with milk or soya milk or anything. So of course we ourselves can give an explanation at the bibliography. You can give it if I choose to be a transparent translator. But imagine I would want my reader to visualize everything. So how it would be? So you are reading 2 pages of story, and if at all you don't understand the meaning of the word I used in the story, imagine in one one single page, if I'm just giving you 50 star symbols, you have to go every time back to the appendix and imagine, visualize how the thing looked like, and come back to the story again and read. See, I'm not trying to say transparent texts are very bad. I'm not saying it. Of course, it can be. Why I prefer to be translucent? Because I want my readers to visualize when they read it. So when I say pancake like appam, so they will imagine it there itself. Okay, pancake is like a pancake is this, and appam will be this. They are not saying, of course, pancake like appam. So when I mentioned that, what will happen once it is done? Once they enjoy it, they might then later, once they're done reading their story, then they might go and look for the word appam. Okay, he said pancake like appam. What is pancake like appam? Then they will read it. But without doing that, without using my translucent theory, if I'm using my transparent theory, my reader will have a distraction. And I wouldn't advise anybody to have a distraction when we read a story. Don't be nice. Like, you watched this Marvel movie, right? Endgame in Tamil. And I'm sure most of us might have watched it. Tamil dubbed movies. You watched it? The English movie to English, the original will be English. So it was Endgame.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Vijay Sethupathi did the role of Iron Man. I mean, so he dubbed for Robert Downey Jr. So Iron Man voice was dubbed in Tamil, and the dubbing part was by Vijay Sethupathi. Trust me, I was laughing all the movie because I was feeling very sad and bad. Why did I even? Of course, I watched that in English in first place. I know this Tamil version is going to be stupid because we cannot translate it completely. And also, if it will be nice if you give a subtitle. But if you watch it, please watch it again. You will laugh. And also watch that in English also. In dialogues, there will be like Tamil dubbed movies. It will be like, hey machan, if it is like that in Tamil, how it will be in English? Dude, come, let's play, dude. It will be like that. So now, dude, come on, let's play. Let's have some fun. If it is in English and we dub it into Tamil, they'll be doing as it is. Dude, வாங்க விளையாட போலாம். நம்ம போயிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஐயோ அது நம்ம நோக்கி வந்துகிட்டு இருக்கு. In Jurassic Park, the dinosaur was coming and the people were panicking here. They were just screaming in English version. But if you see it in Tamil, அது நம்மள நோக்கி தான் வந்துகிட்டு இருக்கு. வாங்க சீக்கிரம் ஓடலாம். That's how it will be, because that is where the transparent theory works. I want to give a transparency here and see how it is. It won't be nice. What I'm saying is, it's not bad to be bad to give a transparent theory. It's not bad to put a transparent theory, but it would be very nice to give a translucent idea, translucent theory. It will help you visualize then and there when you read it. So nothing wrong in giving a transparent and translucent. It's all up to the writer and the translator. But I would advise it will be nice if it is in translucent. I mean, did I answer your question, or Shiva?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the question. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Sir,
Anybody else?
Yeah, Varsha's here. Yes, tell me, Varsha.
you told you're a writer, so is there any specific incident that inspired you to become a writer?
Yeah, thank you. That was a good question. Actually, of course, like, there was no any specific incident, but it's a funny story. Of course, I'll just try to say it in short. When I was a kid, there was a guy called we called him Elidi James. Elidi means writer. We call the, I mean, I'd like to say it in Tamil if that is okay. The host, Ms. Rama, can I say the story in Tamil? I'll say it so quick. I don't want to miss the aesthetics and here. Is it fine?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. So அவர் பேர் எழுதி ஜேம்ஸ். டக்கு நான் சொல்லிடுறேன். ஸோ அவர் என்ன பண்ணுவாருன்னா, அவர் நான் எங்க ஊர்ல என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, எழுதி ஜேம்ஸ் போறாருப்பா அப்படின்னு. எனக்கு ரொம்ப அவரை பார்க்கணும்னு ஆசையாவே இருந்துச்சு. என்னோட தூரத்து சொந்தம். ஸோ வாட் ஐ தாட், நான் எங்க வீட்டுல கேட்டேன், அது என்ன எழுதி ஜேம்ஸ், எழுதினா ரைட்டர்டா அப்படின்னு எங்க வீட்டுல கேஷுவலா சொல்லிட்டு போயிட்டாங்க. அப்போ ஐ வாஸ் இன் வாட் லைக் barely 7th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் அந்த ரேஞ்சில் அப்போ இருந்தப்போ. ஸோ எழுதின ரைட்டரா, அவருக்கு அவ்வளவு மரியாதையா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு தட் இஸ் வேர் ஐ காட் தி ஐடியா. ஓ அப்ப ரைட்டர் அப்படின்னா பெருமையான ஒரு விஷயம் போல. ரைட்டர்னா என்னன்னு சொல்லி கேட்டப்போ அதுக்கு எனக்கு வேற ஒரு எக்ஸ்பிளனேஷன் கிடைச்சது. ரைட்டர் அப்படின்னா அந்த டைம்ல ராஜேஷ்குமார் நாவல் தான் இப்பயுமே ஃபேமஸா இருக்கு. ரைட்டர்னா எழுத்தாளர், ராஜேஷ்குமார் தான் எழுதுறாரு பத்தியா அந்த மாதிரி அப்படின்னப்போ ஐ காட் அன் ஐடியா. ஓகே நம்மளும் இப்ப ரைட்டர்னா எழுதி ஜேம்ஸ்க்கு அவ்வளவு மரியாதை இருக்கு, நம்மளே ஒரு காலத்துல வந்து சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல எழுதின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நல்லா இருக்குமே அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஐ காட் தி ஐடியா ஃப்ரம் தேர். லேட்டர் சம்டைம் லைக் ஒரு வருஷம் 2 வருஷம் கழிச்சு அந்த பேர் எனக்கு கொஞ்சமா மறந்துச்சு. ஐ வென்ட் டு தாலுகா ஆஃபீஸ். எங்க ஊர்ல ஒரு திண்டுக்கல், என்னோட சொந்த ஊர் திண்டுக்கல் மாதிரி. தாலுகா ஆஃபீஸ்ல வந்து நான் வேற ஒரு விஷயத்துக்காக ஒரு நேட்டிவிட்டி சர்டிபிகேட் வாங்கணும் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக கையெழுத்து வாங்குறதுக்கு போயிருந்தேன். போயிருக்கிறப்ப என்னாச்சுன்னா எனக்கு யார அப்ரோச் பண்றதுன்னு தெரியல. ஸோ ஐ கால்ட் அப் மை டேட் அண்ட் ஆஸ்க்ட், இங்க வந்திருக்கேன், எனக்கு கண்ணை கட்டி காட்ட விட்ட மாதிரி இருக்கு, ரொம்ப க்ரௌடா இருக்கு, யாரை பாக்குறதுன்னு தெரியல. அப்பதான் அப்பா டோல் மீ, மை டாட் டோல் மீ, எழுதி ஜேம்ஸ் அங்கதான்டா இருப்பான், அவன்கிட்ட கேள, அவன் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணானப்ப ஐ காட் சோ ஹாப்பி. வாட் அவர் இங்கதான் இருக்காரு, ஏன்னா ஹீஸ் ஃப்ரம் மை நேட்டிவ், என்னோட ஊர்க்காரர் தான், பட் நான் அவரை பார்த்தது இல்லை. பிகாஸ் they used to say he's a very busy person, சர்க்கார்ல வேலை பார்க்கறாரு, ஏன்னா எழுதியில சும்மாவா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு ஹைப் கொடுத்து வச்சிருந்தாங்க. நான் என்ன பண்ணேன், ஓகே எழுதி ஜேம்ஸ் இங்கதான் இருக்காரு போல, அவரை பார்த்த மாதிரியும் வச்சு நமக்கு வேலை ஆன மாதிரியும் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஐ ஸ்டார்டட் லுக்கிங் ஃபார் ஹிம். அப்ப கேட்டப்ப சொன்னாங்க, அங்க உள்ள போய் விசாரிச்சுட்டு இருந்தேன். அந்த பெரிய பெரிய ஆபீசர்ஸ் எல்லாம் உட்காந்துருப்பாங்கல்ல, அங்க உள்ள பூந்துட்டு எழுதி ஜேம்ஸ் தெரிஞ்சவர் தான், உள்ள போறேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு போறேன். எழுதி ஜேம்ஸா, யாரை கேக்குறீங்க அப்படின்னு. உள்ளதான் இருக்க மாட்டார், அவர் காம்பவுண்டுக்கு வெளியே உட்காந்துருப்பாரு பாருங்க அப்படின்னாங்க. காம்பவுண்டுக்கு வெளியே வா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு பார்த்தா போயிட்டு யாருன்னு அங்க நிறைய பேர் உட்காந்துருப்பாங்க. யாருன்னு பார்த்தா இந்த பத்திரம்லாம் எழுதி கொடுப்பாங்க தெரியுமா, உட்காந்து சிலருக்குலாம் வந்து எழுத தெரியாது, மனு கொடுக்க வருவாங்க அந்த ஆபீஸ்க்கு, அவங்களுக்கு எழுத தெரியாது. அப்போ அவங்களுக்கு உதவி பண்றதுக்காக இப்பயுமே இருக்காங்க, அந்த ஃபார்மேட்ல எழுத தெரியாதுங்கிறதுக்காக எழுதி கொடுக்கறதுக்கு பீப்புள் வில் பி சிட்டிங் அவுட் சைட். ஒரு டேபிள் போட்டிருப்பாங்க, உட்காந்துருப்பாங்க, A4 ஷீட் நிறைய வச்சிருப்பாங்க, பேனா வச்சிருப்பாங்க. ஸோ நீங்க அவங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் அமௌண்ட் கொடுக்கணும், அமௌண்ட் கொடுத்து இந்த ரீசனுக்காக தான் நான் பார்க்க வந்திருக்கேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா they will write and give, எழுதி கொடுப்பாங்க. ஸோ அதனாலதான் அவர் வந்து, அவர் பேர் ஜேம்ஸ் ஆக்சுவலி. ஸோ அதனாலதான் அவரை வந்து எழுதி ஜேம்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, எனக்கு அன்னைக்குதான் தெரியும். ஸோ என்னால வந்து அந்த மொமெண்ட் வந்து எனக்கு இன்னும் அந்த மொமெண்ட் நல்லா ஞாபகம் இருக்கு. ஐ வாஸ் லிட்டரலி ஸ்டாண்டிங், இதுதான் எழுதி ஜேம்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. பட் யா, he was the one who really inspired me to pitch into the field of writing. எழுதி ஜேம்ஸ் அப்படிங்கிற பேரை நான் கேள்விப்பட்ட நாள்ல இருந்து I wanted to become a writer. So what I did, சின்ன ஸ்கூல்ல நடக்கிற சின்ன காம்படிஷன் I used to take part, like essay writing, poetry writing. So obviously கொஞ்சம் writing habit வந்துச்சு. But then I pitched into elocution அந்த மாதிரி போயிட்டு then I got back to writing. So there was no much of a particular incident, பட் எனக்கு நல்லா ஞாபகம் இருக்கு. This is where I got an idea about what is the writer அப்படின்னு தெரிய வந்தது வந்து இந்த இன்சிடென்ட் மூலமா தான். So thanks to எழுதி ஜேம்ஸ் uncle, and thanks Varsha for asking me this question. For a moment I went back and came to my childhood. Thank you.
Mr. Leno, I would like to put back a question to Varsha. What's her aim?
What's her what?
Can you please ask Varsha what is her aim?
Okay, Varsha, may I know your aim, please? You're doing MA English, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your aim?
I want to become a writer, and I'm in the progress of becoming a writer.
Wow, that's congratulations. What do you call a process actually? What is actually the process of becoming a writer, do you think, Varsha?
Dreaming and correcting our past mistakes and putting a
That will
lot
really
of thoughts.
Okay. You think that will help you become a writer?
Yes, dreaming can really can make you become a writer.
True, but you have to wake up from your sleep to execute your dreams, right?
Yes, sir.
When you're gonna wake up?
I don't know.
Oh, I was kidding with you. Okay, so the exact process of becoming a writer is to read actually. So no one becomes a writer just like that. You cannot just take up a pen, and of course இப்போ இருக்க காலத்துல எழுத்தாளர்கள் யாரும் கிடையாது. Everyone started using their keyboard. Honestly, we have to call them as what? தட்டச்சாளர்கள். That's what we have to say. But yeah, to write a single page, you should have completed 100 pages in reading. ஒரு பக்கத்தை எழுதணும் அப்படின்னா 100 பக்கத்தை வாசிச்சு முடிச்சிருக்கணும். That is the exact process of becoming a writer. There is nothing you can, of course, I appreciate that you're dreaming, but dreaming alone will never help anyone. Execute it, come out, put into action. So what do we call that put into action part? That is reading. I'm telling you, you better give it a pass, give it a break of becoming a writer. Now pick something. Who's your favorite writer, Varsha, in Tamil? Varsha, are you there?
She reads English books.
Oh, she reads English book. Okay. So pick up your English author, read them through and through. And of course, I'm telling it to everybody now, not just Varsha. And everyone can become a writer. It's not like I would say, that's what I would say. Read as much as you can. Read everything. So, I mean, I'm sorry, I wouldn't say read everything also. You should know whom to read and you should know whom not to read. அந்த பக்குவம் வரணும். அதுக்காக எடுத்ததுமே வந்து I don't like this writer, I won't read him. No, you don't see the writer as a personal object. Read their writings, starting from Bharadiyar, Bharatidasan. So come everything, and இப்போ contemporary இப்போ எழுதிட்டு இருக்க writers வரைக்கும், please pick them and read them. So if you like poems, read poems. If you like short stories, read them. If you like non-fictions, go for article reading. Read the more. So I'm telling you guys, if you read like or 10 short story, if you happen to read 10 short stories, not at the stretch, of course, if you happen to read 10 short stories, you will want to write something. Like you would be like, kandipa namba onu eludhi avano. So we'll give it a try, so you will start it. And I'm telling you, starting is half done. But for that, you should read more. So I request and suggest everyone in this Zoom thingy to read. Spend some time for reading. You all will become a writer. It's not only to become a writer, reading helps. So read it. So thanks, Varsha, again. Any more questions, anyone?
Any questions from your young children?
No questions?
No, Mr. Leno, I've got one.
Yes, please shoot.
What was the most challenging situation that you faced when translating? I mean, which part of the story did you face?
Yeah, done. That is a colloquial part. A colloquial part, when every writer, when they read, they will have Easter egg, they style. Nowadays writers, every writer, of course, including me or be it anybody, they will want to showcase their intellectual talents. They will want to showcase how much they know about the subject they are writing. So what they'll do, if we are talking about, say for example, okay, I'm just writing a story from Madurai slang. Okay, something that happens in Madurai. Okay, so there's a conversation going on between two guys. So if it is that in quotation, then if I'm translating that to English, that will be the most difficult one. That's where the beauty is, right? See, look at the guy, how he's talking to other guy. That's how it will be. Even the writer writes it in Tamil, I would be able to read it, and because the writer will give it in quotation. So they will give it in quotation. So we have to read that in, we come across jokes, right? Kaundamani Dhoniyil Vasikavam. Apo what Vadivel Dhoniyil Vasikavam. That's how it will be the memes in social media. So likewise, the writers will say it. Avanike alahana urithana oru Madurai Dhoniyil, Madurai and the Dhoniyil adai ketan. when it is like that, when I'm taking the text up, that will be the most difficult one. I mean, I wouldn't call that a difficult one, challenging one. So what I'll do, I have to crack my head open, and I would think like I have sometimes there were times that I failed. I agree, I accept my failure, because you wouldn't be able to give that sweetness of the text to English in English. So that is the most difficult part. Like this, there are a lot more like colloquial. When there's a colloquial conversation, there is a writer called Imayam. He has written a novel that is Engade, the novel. The entire, it's a very short book, very tiny one. The name of the book is Engade. Engade. The title is Engade, which means Enoda Kada. But even see, the writer has mentioned as Engade. அது என் கதை அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, அந்த மாதிரி he has mentioned it. The entire pages, entire dialogues, entire words will be like in a colloquial form. நம்ம கேஷுவலா பேசிட்டு இருக்க மாதிரி, அவன் அங்க நடந்து வந்தான், இங்க படுத்து கொண்டிருந்தான். No, it won't be like that. அவன் அங்க படுத்து கிடந்தான், அவன் நடந்து வந்துட்டு இருந்தான். This is how it will be. He has written it. So it will be, it's a beautiful novel. Please, if you have some, I request everyone to suggest everyone to read it. So when I take up that part, it used to be very difficult. Likewise, there are a lot more examples. Whenever I touch this colloquial format, colloquial conversation, when they speak their own slang, I mean, converting the slang is the most difficult, most challenging part, I would say. I have faced it, and of course, it's like, I wasn't able to give the exact same sweetness, not even close. I had to translate that part. So I will translate that to English and I'll just move on. So I used to feel sad about it too. Yeah. So this is a slang and colloquial part. They will give you a big time challenge. I mean, not only for me, I think it is for anyone or everyone who are translating.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, Rajamal ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Over to you. Hello. Yes. Thank you, sir, for your valuable as well as wonderful speech to our students as well as for us. Now I invite Mr. Jibin Francis to deliver the vote of thanks. Sir?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Jibin.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
Madam, am I visible?
No, not yet. Yes, now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Nagaraj, sir, Dr. S. Shashi Anand, sir, Honorable Vice President, Academics, Mr. S. Arjun Kalasalingam, sir, Honorable Vice President, Administration, Dr. V. Vasudevan, sir, Honorable Registrar, Dr. K. Guruswamy, sir, Dean, School of Liberal Arts and Special Education, and Dr. S. Ramadevi, Madam, Head of the Department of English, for their constant support and motivation for conducting various sessions, for imparting knowledge and refining the skills of the students. Today, we were indeed fortunate to have a very interesting and insightful session by the esteemed chief guest and the resource person, Mr. Leno, translator and production editor in Springer Publications. Sir, I express my sincere gratitude to you for your wonderful sharing. We really enjoyed your session, sir. Now, I thank all the faculties of the Department of English for wonderfully coordinating everything to make this event a great success. Last but not least, I congratulate and convey my thanks to all the students who participated in this event. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Jibin. Mr. Leno, thanks a lot for being with us.
Yeah, I'm so thankful too. Thanks for this opportunity. And I can't say happy to have met everyone because we can't literally meet everyone, but I wish I could have met everyone. So I'm so happy once again that you all gave your precious time for me. So thank you so much. Hope to see you all once again somewhere. I hope we all happen to bump into each other sometime in future. Thank you. Thanks again to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Madam,
So,
The
the students
recording
are
is there. The recording is
just
there.
inform the students to register the courses. All the people are here.